Today, we will be going over 8 critical steps to starting an online business. Steps that will help you organize your own process. I happen to know for a fact you can start a successful online business. There are people less intelligent than you that work less who have done it. So pull out a pen and paper, take some notes, and bookmark this video because I'll be moving quickly through some knowledge bombs on how to start an online business. For those new to the channel, welcome to the Income Series where we discuss all things finance, business, and investing. I'm Brian Clark, living down here in Puerto Rico. There's a lot of original value in this video, so turn that like button blue. Just for doing that, as a token of my gratitude, here's a quick video of an albino kangaroo. Now let's jump into it. You should first consider starting by building an audience, even if you don't have something to sell. Social platforms are a great place to start, like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook groups. Instagram being a very easy platform to get started. Creating content for Instagram is much cheaper and faster than compared to YouTube. But I'd say it's much more difficult to build a deep connection with your followers on Instagram as compared to YouTube or Facebook groups. On YouTube, you have an incredible opportunity to reach a wide audience and grow deep connections with them quickly, really on a scale that is difficult to accomplish on any other social media platform. Facebook groups are also a great place to cultivate deeper relationships with your audience, but they are less of a traffic source and more of a place you use to bring your followers together for more meaningful discourse. It's best if you have a basic idea of the audience you will be targeting as customers when you start building a community on social media platforms. But it's also fine if you later decide on a product or service that caters to whatever audience you've cultivated. Either way, you should have a very specific target audience in mind when you first start building your audience and establishing your brand. The beauty of first cultivating an audience is it gets you started in building your business without some huge upfront investment and without a perfect plan. Too many people get caught up in the planning phase, while building an audience first gets you taking action immediately. For me, this is honestly one of the most enjoyable aspects of building an online business. I like having a relationship with my community first, and then having a product or service that caters to them second. It will be very transparent to your audience if you care more about extracting money from their bank account than the relationship you're building with them. Trust is built on integrity and a willingness to put relationships first. I actually think that when people buy products from someone they trust, their expectations are much more realistic, which results in a high customer satisfaction level. Having a customer base with realistic expectations is a great place to start when you're first building a business. The next step is moving your audience off the social media platform to your own personal website. Building a website has become an extremely easy process and does not generally require expertise in programming. I've been building websites for a long time, so I generally use WordPress as my content management system. WordPress is free and really offers the most flexibility out of all the content management systems out there. 40% of websites on the internet are built on WordPress, so it has by far the most plugins available for it. For the actual building of the pages, I use a drag and drop builder plugin called Elementor Pro. This is a pretty lightweight plugin that gives you complete control over the look of your website without having to know how to code. Now for my email management system, I use Sendinblue. I switched off of MailChimp because of how expensive it was. Once I had over 30,000 emails, MailChimp was starting to get really expensive. Sendinblue has been saving me thousands a year in comparison. I'm not suggesting that these are the tools that you necessarily should use. Tons of business owners like using Shopify as their content management system, especially if they are not very tech savvy. Another system you want to consider is ClickFunnels. This one is really one of the most complete plug-and-play systems out there for collecting your customers' information and funneling them through the purchase process. But I would consider using it more as an adjunct to your own business website. I'm a huge proponent of just putting in a little bit of extra upfront work and planning to build a long-term brand. Once the customer is at your website, the next step is to move them through the sales funnel. The primary initial purpose of moving your audience to your website should be to collect their information, with the priority being to get their name and their email address. It's so important that you have your own record of your audience and control over what information you can send them. You don't want Instagram or YouTube deciding forever what information you create gets pushed out in front of your audience. That makes for a very unstable business model. Having an email list is a big part to being able to push out new product releases as you grow your business. A lot of businesses wait way too long to get this started, and it is an essential part of building a stable income stream through those you've cultivated a relationship with. You need to remember to cultivate these relationships through email, just as you do through your YouTube channel or Instagram. You need to prove to them that your emails contain value, just as you did with your videos. Business owners will often offer a free digital product in exchange for a person's email address. After giving value to a potential customer for free, they will trust that there will be value in whatever product you sell them. Another step is you need to decide on a product or service. If you already have an audience, you can actually ask them if they would be interested in products or services that you're considering to create. If you have an email list, you can ask them both on social media and through your email list. You'll get a much better response with the more mediums from which you can ask them. This may save you from investing a ton of time and money into something that your audience doesn't even want. This is an incredible way to leverage your audience when you're starting your journey as a business and should definitely be used if possible. I would recommend not trying to reinvent the wheel, especially for your first product. Look for a product or service being offered that you know works, one that you understand and whose target audience fits the community you've created. By doing this, you take out a lot of the guesswork on if a product or service can be successful. Then just try and improve on that product and make it original to you and your brand. If you want to try and create something completely original, just expect a much greater chance of failure. I also recommend that you first consider services and digital products before considering physical products. That's because these usually require the least upfront cost to get started and have the largest margins of profit. Think what skills or services you already have that you can sell. Skills where you can either provide one-on-one coaching or perform directly to your audience. I know a YouTuber that had only a few thousand subscribers but was making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, leveraging his audience as an insurance salesman. This gives you an idea of how powerful social media can be in leveraging services or skills you may already have. You can also consider building a digital product or platform that helps your audience complete a task easier. This will likely require a little bit more time to create. Even building an online course of any significant value can take a lot of time to put together. And I would recommend that if you're going to build a course, you really should put in the time to include as much value as possible. People will be more satisfied paying $1,000 for a course that provides value than $100 for a course that provides no value. Personally, I'm more skeptical of courses that don't seem to be priced appropriately. You can also consider making digital products that help your audience in other ways and that have reasonable low barriers of entry. A perfect example of this would be a YouTuber that creates free video editing tutorials and will then sell custom title animations to their audience. These are something easy, fast, and essentially free to make for an experienced video editor, but can help add a layer of professionalism to a novice creator's videos. Now, of course, you can also offer tangible products to your audience, the easiest of which are print-on-demand products. The problem with print-on-demand products is they are usually very generic, besides carrying your branding, and the profit margins are terrible. The benefits of print-on-demand is there's less risk and less upfront work to get them out to your audience. Now, if you want to create custom products and carry an inventory, these will of course take more time, money, and planning to execute successfully. For all these reasons mentioned, these products generally incur much more risk. Now, I don't want that to completely deter you from creating a physical product. Fortunes are often made offering physical products to faithful followers and subscribers. Kylie Jenner is a perfect example of this, who seemingly became a billionaire overnight with a simple makeup line. So don't write off physical products completely. The next step is knowing when to roll out your product or service to market. There's a famous quote, "If you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late." Now, that doesn't mean that you should be rushing a junk product out to market, but it does mean that you need to get some version of it out there for testing before you exhaust years into trying to perfect it. Perfection is the enemy to progress, and I especially believe that's the case for new entrepreneurs. A good way to know if you're obsessing too much over the details is by getting other people's opinions. You can start by asking friends or family to critically assess the product and see if there's an overwhelming flaw. If you already have an audience, you can roll out a beta version to select individuals for free or at a discount for their feedback. But really, this should be part of your development process, so you're one, not creating a product that nobody is interested in, And 2, not obsessing over details that aren't important on a good product. It really is important to get other people involved in the development of your product to get outside perspectives. You'll find that being an online business owner can often be pretty isolating, so it's also important just for your sanity. For the next step, when you're ready to launch your product, you'll need to sign up with a payment processor and integrate them in with your website. This doesn't have to be as complicated as you think. E-commerce is currently so well developed that this part of the process doesn't have to be some huge unknown. When I first started back in 2010, there usually required some type of custom shopping cart or checkout process that needed to be built by developers. But today there's a sales system that will fit almost any style of service or product. Personally, I've used both PayPal and Stripe as my payment processors. If you're going to be running a lot of small businesses with different branding, I personally prefer to use Stripe over PayPal. But really, you need to familiarize yourself with any payment processing system and which one best aligns with what you're doing with your business. The next step is pricing your product. If you took my advice and decided to make a similar product to one that is already on the market, then much of this work is already done for you. You'll already have comparables for what you've created that you can use as a benchmark. Then you can build your brand around this. Are you a luxury brand where you can substantiate a higher price point? Or are you a budget brand where you can get the same quality for less? It is always good to have other products you can use as a benchmark. Otherwise, you'll need to do some additional research. You can start with an introductory price for your newly released product with the claim that there will be a price increase as time goes on. If it's a digital product or service, you can also explain that the product will improve over time, so they are getting the benefit of a later improvement at a discounted price. While starting with a lower initial price is fine, don't undervalue what you offer, and make sure your pricing is at a level that makes your efforts worth it. The next step is deciding how and where you're going to be marketing the product. If you already have a social media following, you can obviously start there. One great option is to offer it as an affiliate product to other influencers and website owners. This way, they push your products to their audience for you, and you don't have to pay anything until they provide you with a sale. You can also consider running Facebook ads and Google ads. Really depends on the type of product and how people search for it. If it's an impulse buy type product, then social media ads tend to work well. If it's the type of product that people search for in Google, then obviously Google ads would be a good way to go. Understanding your audience and how and when they buy your product is very important because you don't want to be spending money on advertising to them in the wrong way. The key to success is really being centered on fixing a problem for your audience or helping them improve their life in some way. You never want to be the gotcha guy. If you're offering a digital product, offer a reasonable refund policy. Show your customers that you're not there to take their money if the product doesn't work for them. If you create a good product and have a good relationship with your audience, the refund rates are guaranteed to be very low. If you have a huge refund rate, then you really need to consider changing something about your product or how you're portraying it in your marketing. Becoming a successful entrepreneur doesn't require a formal education. It requires a disposition of perseverance, hard work, and experimentation. I guarantee that you're able to be successful as an online business owner. You need to start before you even know what you're doing, and just put in a little bit of time growing your business every day. If you found some value in this video, turn that like button blue. Also, if you haven't yet, become an OG and click that subscribe button. I share quite a few different small business ideas in some of my other videos you may be interested in. So go check those out. And you guys have a great day.